Once upon a time, there were little men called elves. They looked like dwarves and lived in deep caves under the earth. There, they stored gold, silver, and precious jewels. They were hard workers and liked to help people that were in need. Late at night, they would go to the farms that needed help and work the fields or do other chores that needed to get done. One night they began to help a very unlucky farmer called Martin. Martin inherited a nice farm from his father, but soon after, Martin's wife died and left him with 3 daughters. Bad years followed as hail destroyed his crops and his livestock died from disease. In the end, all he had left was one skinny cow and some sick sheep. Martin felt helpless and he did not know what to do. The elves became aware of his great need. They started to come every night to help him, and soon the cow was fat and gave gallons of milk every day. From this milk, the elves made butter and cheese, which Martin would take to the market and sell. The sheep became healthy, and the elves sheared them and spun their hair into soft wool. They then made beautiful sweaters, blankets, and socks out of the wool. These too Martin took to the market and sold. Soon his farm was prosperous. The animals were all healthy, his crops grew well all year, and he had a great harvest in the fall. People were astonished at how well Martin was doing. They all assumed he had worked very hard, and Martin soon became the most respected farmer in the village. A few years later, Martin's eldest daughter fell in love and wanted to get married. The elves were overjoyed for the family and worked hard to make the preparations for a wonderful wedding. As the wedding day drew near, the elves kept waiting for their invitation to the wedding. Soon it became apparent that Martin was not going to invite them. He did not want the village people to know about the little elves. He wanted people to keep thinking he had done all the hard work himself. He did not want to acknowledge all the hard work the elves had done. The elves were angry and hurt by Martin's selfishness. So many nights they had worked on his farm. One had shoed the horses, one had cut the grass, another had milked the cows. The list went on and on. If the elves would not have worked so hard, Martin's farm would never have prospered. They decided that they deserved to go to the wedding, even if Martin did not invite them. They would simply wear their capes, which made them invisible. They wanted to eat all of Martin's food, but their tummies were so tiny that they would not be able to eat that much. Michael, who was Martin's farmhand, had also not been invited. The elves decided to make a big cake for Michael, so he too could go to the wedding. Michael was a big man and would be able to eat much more than they could. They told Michael that the cake would make him invisible and that he would be able to eat as much food as he wanted. The only thing was that he could not stuff food into his pockets to take with him for later. Michael agreed to this and off they went to the wedding. At the wedding, they caused all kinds of trouble. People would accuse each other of stealing food and drinks from one another. They did not know that Michael and the elves were cleaning their plates and drinking their glasses empty when no one was watching. A huge fight broke out, and the wedding was a terrible mess. Martin had started to fill his pockets with food during the fight because he was greedy and knew the wedding would soon be over. One of the elves saw him and removed his cape. "You should have paid attention to our rules, Michael," the elf said. When the cape was removed, the people saw who had been stealing their food and drinks, and they threw Michael out the door right onto a big manure pile. The big wedding Martin had wanted to show off with had been ruined. The elves stopped going to Martin's farm, and soon the place looked poor again. The animals were not as shiny, and the crops did not grow as well, and the wool was not made into beautiful sweaters and blankets anymore. Had Martin not been so selfish, he would not have lost the little elf's help. Now he was once again a poor farmer, and the elves had disappeared forever. They did not want to help people who did not give credit to those that deserved it.